From is fantastic because it's a constantly moving undulating force that always seems to add new twists and turns to its overall plot. Just when I think I have the science fiction monster equivalent of Jenga, they throw another piece on top, and that's just what they did with episode 8 and the creatures. I thought I had them almost figured out, and then they dramatically changed their behavior pattern, which is good. I must confess episode 7 was truly exciting and epic. But it's episode 8 that really has the golden info ticket, because it is chocked full of so many tidbits and pieces of new information that we can explore. So, let's start with a question. Why did the creatures change so much? The creatures that we saw in episode 8 were nothing like what we observed in the previous episodes. They changed so much that they were almost unrecognizable in their behavior. Yes, we know these creatures are brutal and monstrous in the past episodes, but they displayed a sort of calm, slow sophistication to how they hunted.
See? Just the two of us.
But in episode 8, what we saw from them was far more beast-like, behaving like rabid, howling, mad, possessed dogs. So let's go over one major change that we saw and what could be the possible reason why their behavior morphed that abruptly. The noticeable change I want to focus on is their audible communication. Let me expound. Audible communication is an important method of nonverbal communication. When communication is done by using different sounds for conveying different messages, it is called audible communication. Examples of animals that use auditory communication include monkeys, bullfrogs, and birds. And this is pretty much what we saw in episode 8 with the creatures. They were using non-verbal audible communication to stalk their human prey. From what Boyd said, they were like this for a very long time using this form of communication. It's clear to say that they had no real desire to verbally talk with the people at all. But that changed quickly when Boyd found the talismans. Maybe you're asking, what's the significance of them not using non-verbal communication? What's the big deal? In most cases, verbal communication usually signifies higher cognitive functions, or intelligence, due to the fact of the complexities of the spoken language. Let me put it this way: imagine you had a friend and she wanted something to eat, but the only way that she could communicate what she wanted to eat was by mumbling, and by pointing to each item it took to make what she wanted. And she communicated like this for a long time. Now imagine your same friend one day out of the blue wants something to eat, but this time she speaks verbally and says she wants a Japanese strawberry shortcake, made with moist and fluffy vanilla sponge cake layers filled with light as cloud chantilly cream and fresh strawberries. Instantly you can see the efficiency of verbal communication, how much time is not wasted, along with the exact specifications of what she wants so there's no misunderstanding. That's why verbal communication is a higher form of communication. Now back to our favorite creatures. To me this is a pretty big deal, because they went from the least efficient style of communication, non-verbal, then somehow evolved to the highest form of verbal communication, that even was able to outmaneuver humans in persuasive powers. That's amazing. The big question is why the change? We know that the talismans have some sort of effect on them, but I only thought the effect would be connected to the entryways of the various homes. But from what we've seen in episode 8, the talismans also does something to their behavior on multiple levels. It forces them to adapt, to change their tactics. The protective effectiveness of the talismans really does seem good. The truly frightening part of this change is how fast they adapted and came with the most effective way to negate the protective power of the talismans. How they did this was genius. They put all their skills and effort into mastering the art of persuasion and communication at the highest level. Let me put it this way. They're so good at persuasion now that they can metaphorically convince a person to forfeit their own life by having them open a window and letting them in.
I've missed you so much.
Megan, what are you doing?
Maybe I can come in.
That's some frighteningly good verbal manipulation. Extraordinary. They went from a seemingly mindless, howling, crazed-filled beast, to now a master orator. The significance of this adaptation they displayed should not be underestimated, because that signifies if they are able to change from what we saw in episode 8 howling monsters to now creatures that whisper and are skillful manipulators. That opens up the possibility of other adaptive behaviors, like can they run if they want to? Can they come out in the daytime? What other things can they do that the townspeople aren't aware of? In any case, there's a high probability they can change other aspects of their behavior. And if true, it will only add another layer of fear to an already dire situation. Who knows what these things are really capable of? So guys, Tell me what you think about their vocal oratory changes, how they went from howling creatures, to now highly skilled manipulating speakers. Leave your comments below and I appreciate each and every one of them. Thanks for watching, until next time.